It's XL Primetime, featuring Joe C.
I'm having nightmares right now.
Matt Hayes.
Big asses, big thighs, yeah.
And Leon Searcy.
Bed Bath & Beyond. Nothing says football like scented soap.
How you like me now? How you like me now?
Oh boy, it's Friday. It is Friday here on XLP. We got our coach here for the entire 2 hours. Dave Campo is joining us. I'm Matt Hayes. He's Leon Searcy. Joe C. calling the Genesis today on international TV for the PGA Tour. JJ, we need to get like a kind of like a new intro, or at least an added intro every Wednesday or Friday when
For
Coach
camps.
comes. Yeah, we've got to have a little
I'll start
camps.
saving some of his silly sound bites.
A little camps intro, I think we need, definitely.
Hey, listen, I'm just happy to be here, guys. I don't mind being a little incognito. You know, I don't like, I'm kind of like, I don't have a bodyguard, so I have to really kind of just show up at different times so that nobody knows exactly where I'm going to be at any one time.
You do kind of sidle a little bit. You sidle in. There's
Absolutely.
no doubt about that.
Yeah,
Well, I
can't be
grew up.
routine, Coach, No,
I grew up in the in the mob area, so any name
So you
that
learned
has
about
Italian
sidling
on the
enough.
end of it, you got to be a little careful.
All right, it is day 23 since Ding Dong the Witch is dead and the Jags ran Balky out of town. Day 23. And earlier today...
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you, Liam. And earlier today... I might even deserve a round of applause, too, JJ. And earlier today, the Jaguars interviewed Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham. He is now the 8th person interviewed for the Jaguars general manager job. Only one has been a general manager prior. The rest have been assistant. Chad Alexander with the Chargers, assistant general manager. Brandon Brown with the Giants, assistant general manager. Terrence Gray with the Bills, director of player personnel. Trey Brown with the Bengals, senior personnel executive. James Gladstone with the Rams, director of scouting. Josh Williams with the 49ers, director of scouting and football ops. So only John Robinson, who built the Titans into a pretty formidable foe in the AFC South in his time there, before he butted heads with ownership / coach / everyone in the building, and eventually was tossed for Rand Carthon, who they tossed after 2 years. And now they're starting over. We're in day 23 now, Dave, and I want to ask you and Leon, because you've been a head coach, Leon, because he's obviously an all-pro offensive tackle, former all-pro offensive tackle. It's awesome to have two NFL people on either side of me right now. First, let's
Pretty
start.
badass, huh?
It is pretty badass, actually. Let's start with you, Camps, because we're now at day 23, and Leon and I joke about this all the time. There's still one guy left in the building, Ethan Waugh, who was Trent Baalke's right-hand man, who has been interviewed and is going to be considered for the job. And Leon and I have been joking, and Leon, you are with me on this, that you got to get the whole funk out of the building.
The residue has to leave.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of it. All got to go. And it's almost like when you have like skin cancer. I've had skin cancer on my head, and they go just a little bit outside the margins just to make sure everything's covered. You know what I mean? They're not like going inside a little bit, or we're going to take this part. The rest of it we don't have to worry about. No, they're covering the margins. You know what I mean? That's what I kind of feel like with this thing is, let's just cover the margins. Everybody got to go. So hopefully whoever they hire, when they get in there, are going to say, nah, got to go. So my question to you then, how important is this GM hire if we're now 23 days into it? And are you seeing any trends? The trend I see actually is they're not going to go after a former general manager. It's going to be a first-time general manager. It's going to, like the young gun philosophy they have right now with the staff.
I was going to say that. Affectionately, you called them young guns yesterday.
Yeah, we named them young guns. I think we're going to keep calling them young guns, too, because that's pretty good.
Well, first of all, let me just say this. The little morbid comparing it to cancer as far as the margins of what's going on.
Well, since I had skin cancer,
I think that's a little drastic.
Since I had it, I can do it, okay?
Yes. Here's my thought on the thing, and I'm only doing this from experience, okay? The only reason that I would say that you keep Ethan Waugh here, not saying that he wouldn't do a tremendous job. I don't know him that well, but I do know he's not Trent Baalke. And this first year coming in.
Wait, but how do you know that? How do any of us know that?
Well, because I know a few people that know him, and
Okay.
and I've been
Okay.
around him. Somebody lives in my neighborhood,
Great. Then that's
so
perfect
I have a
then.
little bit of I
That's
see him
perfect.
every once in a while in the
Okay.
neighborhood.
What does he drive?
I have no idea. I see him walking.
When
I'm
you
walking
walk
the dog. That's when I see him.
When you walk your dog,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see him.
Yeah.
Does
So,
he wave?
does
Is
he
a
wave
waver?
immediately?
oh yeah.
Immediately he waves.
Well, yeah, because he
I
came
love
up to
that.
me originally. He likes the fact that I was with the Cowboys.
Who waves first, you or him? That's the key.
Is it?
Probably me, because I'm kind of more congenial.
Okay, I'll give you an
Of
even
course
better
he
one.
waves first. He's the Don.
I'm gonna give,
Don doesn't wave.
I'm gonna give you a better one. You ready for this?
Yeah.
If you're walking and you're both it's in America, it's you're on the right, the other guy coming to you is on the left. Wherever you do.
The first thing
If for some reason you're on the same,
the first thing that said is, "Hey, Camps, how you doing?"
does he
So I
move
kinda like
or
him.
does he move or do you move?
Oh,
That's
he
the
moves
question.
on the way.
He moves
knows.
initially.
Oh, yeah, no question.
All right, so he's deferring you. All right.
Yeah,
I'm
so I
liking him
know him
already.
pretty well.
All right,
Yeah.
go ahead, continue.
Yeah, well, my feeling is this. When we came in with the Cowboys, it's a similar situation because obviously the Cowboys were struggling.
Right.
Jimmy Johnson comes in. Jimmy was going to be the GM. There's no question in his mind. So to him, he knew Jerry was going to stay out of the way initially because he didn't know what he was doing initially.
Right.
And so he kept the people on the scouting department and the player personnel director because so much work had been done that he wanted to use that information. Now, he sent us out, which they don't do as much anymore, because he trusted us probably more at evaluating talent, with 6 of us coming from the college level,
Right.
knowing the coaches and those kind of things, than he trusted the scouts because he didn't really know them. But all that information, Matt, that's been collected over the course of the last 2 years, 3 years, is there on these players. Some of these guys were looked at when they were sophomores, freshmen in college in the draft. So there's information to be gathered there. That's the only reason I would say that you would keep somebody in the building that has been a part of that. Now, will he be the GM? I don't know. But I know that in some way, shape, or form, he might be somebody that they keep.
So the transition.
Yeah.
The transition. If they bring in Ethan, listen, I want the funk out of there too now. Don't get me wrong, I want the funk out of there. But I'm saying if they do hire a GM, more than likely Ethan is going to have some kind of role, some kind of label, so that all that, like you said, Coach, all that information, all that data has to be translated. And I know you're thinking, well, he's a grown man. But you just said it. Most of these guys that they're interviewing, they've never been GMs before.
Right.
And he's been
7 of the 8 that they're interviewing.
And you got to remember Ethan Wall also. I mean, he the tutelage of Trent Baalke. He was under Trent Baalke, so he was learning vicariously through Trent Baalke, so to say, on how to become a GM. So I mean, if they hire a GM coming in here, that transition of data, information, scouting, free agents, cap, who we going to release, who we going to cut, who we need to extend, all that's going to be translated to the new GM at Ethan Wall. He has this, he has his hand on all that stuff.
All right, I want to circle back to you about the player GM relationship, but I want to go back to Dave real quick because what you were saying had me start to think about the scouting department. And I talk to scouts all the time, and these guys are there for 10, 12, 16, 20, 25 years. These guys are there forever at some of these places, some of these franchises. As a head coach, when you get into that position, do you ever look at the scouting department and you say, how in the world have we drafted so poorly? Is this scouting or is it just GM decision? We talked about this a few days ago that, scouts give you what it's all about and they give you, okay, this is why I like this guy, this is why we shouldn't like this guy, and then the GM makes the decision. But at some point, does any of that fall on the scouts, on evaluations of players? And as a coach or even a GM, do you at some point say, all right, we got to shake up the scouting department as well?
Yeah, I think you have to. I think that's what I'm kind of saying, that eventually Jimmy made the decision to get rid of some guys. But you also, for example, there were scouts there that when this guy said something, he knew what he was talking about.
Right.
This other guy, it's just like anything else. There are some really good ones, and there's some okay, and there's some that are better at looking at offensive linemen
Right.
than other guys. For example, if I went out scouting right now, I would have a much better hit on skilled guys than I would on offensive linemen, just by the nature of what I did coaching all my life.
Okay.
You know? And so the scouts are kind of like that. You know, there are guys that are much better at picking certain positions than others. So that's all going to be part of the change of the whole thing. But I don't know if you can do it as soon as you walk in the building, because they don't know the scouts.
Coach, it was saying, I agree with you on that, because it was the same thing for me when I was recruiting. When I was at FIU, if you send me to go look at a wide receiver or a DB, I'm not going to know what the hell to look at with no wide receiver, no DB. If he's fast, he's backpedal. But if you go send me to look at an offensive lineman, a guard or a tackle or a center, then I can evaluate him better. I can talk about, does he bend his knees? Does he play too high? Does he move his feet? All those kind of things. Does he have good leverage? His attack points, all that kind of stuff. How does he transition out of his stance? Does he stay low? He's got long, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, the big bodies, I can tell you all day. Maybe the D tackles, because I played against so many.
Right.
So I would when they sent me to see D tackles or see linemen, that was my wheelhouse.
So I guess here's my question to you. And this is kind of like a 30,000 feet question. But I think it's one that if you're driving around the city right now, you have to be wondering this. Clearly, they've had problems with GMs here. Clearly, they've had problems in the draft here. Is it all on the GM, or at some point is there some scouting? Like, is there problems with the scouting organization?
Yeah, that's one of the things you evaluate. You know, you look at the guys.
But like,
and
you
say,
can't. I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. I'm sorry. But so I guess is. What you said it's not a good time to do it. Now is not a good time because of the draft. When is the best time to make a decision to change in scouting? At what point do you change? Is it after the draft?
After the draft.
Okay.
After the draft. And really, to be honest with you, one of the things that you're evaluating is like I said, there are certain guys that have a better hit ratio than others. For example, if you see that one guy has picked a guy in the fourth round and he stepped up on the table for him, and everybody else said he couldn't play, this guy can. All of a sudden, he's playing. He's got a good hit record, and that's part of it, the decision that's made. I just think the other thing that we're missing here a little bit is there is a relationship between Ethan Waugh and Shad Khan. I mean, he's been here with him. He brought him up when he said, "Who do I listen to?"
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, so my whole thing is they may clean house completely. And that may be the way to do it. But I just see that transition period, like Leon says it, is being a definite factor.
So you think this might be a little bit of a fake, kind of like the Balky thing was a fake, where, you know, it's Balky and it's Shad, and they're talking about the new coach, and Balky's going to be, you know, doing the search, and a few days later, or a few weeks later, I should say, you know, he's cut out too.
Yeah,
so it's possible that Ethan Waugh could also go then.
Listen, anything is possible. Believe me. The way the league is today, there's no patience. So,
all right. We need to go to break. We're going to get into more about the GM and this franchise's problems on offense for the last 3 or 4 years. I want to get into that with you as well. So we'll come back next on the other side and get into all that and a whole lot more. It's XLP.
Dan Hicken.
You just happen to have one of those jobs. It's difficult to
believe that a grown man does without losing his mind.
Mornings on the Drill.
What is my job?
On 1010XL.
Where's my work? It's air.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refresh!
refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Learn more about the beautiful game of soccer and its impact on the River City.
What a beautiful thing to behold.
Get an hour of soccer talk on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour.
That's all I want to know.
Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m.
Calling all poker players. The action is heating up at Best Bet Orange Park, and you don't want to miss the Greater Orange Park Open with a massive $50,000 guarantee. This $200 no-limit hold'em tournament kicks off with 4 starting flights on February 21st and 22nd, leading up to the final day on February 23rd at 12 o'clock. The stakes are high, the excitement is real, and the prize money is waiting for you. Don't miss your shot. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Pacifico is brewed for those who let go of the things that don't matter and hold on to the ones that do. That's living life anchors up.
Pacifico, found in Baja, imported by surfers. Ask for a Pacifico when you're ready to live life anchors up.
Pacifico is a crisp golden lager, brewed for those who know. It's what's behind a label that matters.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
What's the major difference between a crocodile and an alligator? The answer next.
Lightning, storms, and hurricane winds can ruin recent home improvements. Let Southern Oak Insurance review your policy today. Visit us online at southernoakins.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
While an alligator will see you later, a crocodile will see you after a while.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, it's Heavy Metal Friday, by the way. And this song, just FYI, fellas, it's called Get the Funk Out.
Good choice, bro.
If you don't like what you see here, get the funk out.
Okay, all right.
All right?
I can feel it.
I'm not saying that any one particular person, okay?
You went deep for this.
In that Jaguars building over there. I'm just, throwing that out there. You don't like the funk. I don't like the funk.
I like the P-funk.
All right. So, Leon, dealing with a general manager as a player, we're going to get deep into the football, the offense and defense sides with the new hires with Dave and you. But I want to circle back real quick to the general managers. As a football player, dealing with the general manager, do you even deal with them, number one? And number two, you have a great anecdote I think you should tell everybody.
Well, listen, my first year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a Florida Gator gave me probably the best advice I could ever, early on in my career. David Little was a linebacker with the Pittsburgh Steelers today. And when I came in my rookie year, he said, when it comes to the front office, he said, smile and wave, never shake their hands. And he said, because there's no loyalty. Because you're here one day and the next day you're out. That's the NFL. It's a business. And by the way, that year, they drafted LeVon Kirkland and David Little was out of there. so he knew ahead of time. He knew ahead of time. But no, listen, we never really had conversations. Only times we really had conversations with the general manager of the front office is one, if you were in trouble, and then, fines and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you were in trouble, they would talk to you directly. Or when you were under, either you wanted a raise or they were going to ask you for a pay cut, contractually.
Right.
Because most of the time the agent usually was involved between you and the general manager.
Right.
But sometimes the general manager will call you in his office. Like if you're trying to get an extension and stuff like that, he'll call you in your office and say, hey, listen, we're trying to get this deal done, but your agent, he's trying to smooth you over. Yeah. Your agent's already warning you that. Your agent's already telling you, hey, listen, he's going to have you in your office. He's going to tell you that I'm being difficult, but no, stick to your guns. We're going to be fine. Because the Steelers did that to me when my last year with the Steelers, when they were trying to sign me, they would call me in the office and say, Leon, we're trying to get this deal done, but Drew is he's hardballing us, man. We want to make it fair. And I'm just looking at him and say, okay, whatever. All right. Can I go now? you have to be respectful, but you got to be stern.
Right.
Because anything you tell them is ammunition.
Right. It's leverage for them.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to be stern or whatever. And then they came at me towards the end because initially they came at me beginning of the season, but the end of the season when they knew I bet on me. I bet on me, and now
and you won,
and I won, and then we
a
go
lot
to
like Josh Hyde.
and then we go to a Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
Oh, then they knew they know they had to ante up then. But yeah, that's the only time we really had those kind of relationships with the general manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Contractual.
Yeah, no different really from Josh Hyde. Did the same thing and then cashed in, baby. Let's go back to the draft real quick, Dave, because you've been an NFL head coach and an assistant coach. A lot of times when we see the war rooms, during draft day, they show the war rooms, and you don't ever see assistant coaches in there, So my question to you is, when you were an assistant, not when you're a head coach, but first when you were an assistant, did Jimmy ever call you and say, we're thinking about him or him as a corner or him and him as a safety? Did he do that with Wanstead at linebackers or Butch at the defensive line? Did he say, we're thinking about him or him? What do you think? Or was it more, we're going to the scouts to ask them?
Well, I'll give you one example, okay? I've really got two examples.
Let's hear them both.
Okay. First one was Darren Woodson. Darren Woodson. First of all, let me go back. All the assistant coaches meet with, which we've talked about many times over the last few years, they meet with the entire scouts and everybody else by position.
Right.
And they go through all that stuff with the general manager there, the assistant general manager, scouting director, everybody, the head coach, the coordinators, the whole works.
For the draft and free agency, by the way. And free agency, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More so, though, with the draft, because on the pro side, you got a pro personnel department, and they're grading these guys all the time. So they'll give you a guy and say, hey, what do you think of this guy? That's about it.
Right.
But everything, you go through the entire process prior to the draft, okay? On draft day, and again, I've been in 3 different pro clubs, so it's basically the same. when they're getting ready for a round and they're considering a guy, they'll sometimes call his assistant coach in and say, what do you think? Where are you on this? Here's where we have them evaluated. Right. Where are you on this? Again, okay? Darren Woodson, I went out to look at some guys. I saw Darren Woodson. We were looking for a big, strong safety. And, you know, he was a linebacker. He came out, ran a 4.38 40 at 218 pounds, 6'2.5". So I worked him out as a DB. And when I came back, I told Jimmy, I said, this guy will start for us at special teams. He will probably be our nickelback because he's fast enough and quick enough and athletic enough to cover guys one-on-one up front and a great support guy. And he could be that big, strong safety, but I'm not sure about his ball skills from an instinct standpoint because he's never been back in the back end.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Well, the day of the draft, Jimmy calls me back in. He says, give me the Darren Woodson story again. I give him the exact story. They take him at the top of the second round. Nobody else probably would have taken him in the second round.
And that was in our draft. That was my draft, Darren Woodson draft, 92.
Correct.
That was a 92 draft, yeah.
Then
and by the way, he develops into a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And then the next one is I'm sitting in the office, and one of our scouts, who was our best scout, came in. I was sitting there watching some tape. He said, hey, I'm going over to TCU to work out a guy. Do you want to go with me? A DB. Mm-hmm. I said, sure. So I go over. It's Larry Brown. Larry Brown was a JC guy that, in my background in junior college, was you bring in a junior college. Guys had 2 or 3 coaches already in high school. You come in, you bring him in. The first year, you redshirt him. The second year, he's only got 2 years.
Right.
The second year, he plays, he's going to play okay. The third year, if he's going to be really good, that's when he go because he's got the same coach for the 3 years. Okay. Right. So he comes in. So I work him out. He won the most valuable player in the blue-gray game. The blue-gray game was kind of the also-ran all-star game back in the day.
Right.
They weren't going to be high draft picks, but they were pretty good players. So I work him out. He runs like a 4.5 40. He won't stop. He runs a 4.49 40. I said, that's good enough. He runs again, 4.47. So finally I have to say that's good enough. And we work him out. I go back. I watch tape on him. I've got him ranked maybe in the 4th or 5th round.
Right.
Okay. We don't have him anywhere near there. Okay. So because of that, came into TCU, was not redshirted because they had to play him.
Right.
So really he missed that third year. His second year was his third year, basically. Right. Okay. So Jimmy calls me in on draft day. We're back in the 12-round draft. Mm-hmm. He brings me in, and we're in the 10th round. He said, Dave, we're going to take a corner with the 12th round. He said, here's 3 guys that the scouts have graded down the line to where we're at. We're going to take the one you want. I watched the 3 of them. I walked back in. I said, Jimmy, none of these guys help us. None of these guys make us better. They probably won't make the team. I said, but there's this kid up the road, smart, fast, has got that mentality, wants to keep going, whatever. We take him in the 12th round. He's MVP of Super Bowl 30. He starts after 5 games as a rookie. Kevin Smith, that we took with the 17th pick in the draft, started after 8 games of the season. So my answer to you is long-winded, but it depends on how much he trusts the guys that are evaluating. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line right there.
Right. And that's how often does that happen, you think, in a typical NFL franchise, in a typical draft day? Because Jimmy is a different cat. Right. Jimmy's calling you about a 12th round pick, for God's sakes.
Right, exactly.
So how often do you think something like that happens? Let's be specific here.
Okay, I would say it would be less now, except in a situation like right now, because he doesn't know the scouts.
Right.
Liam doesn't know the scouts. He probably has more association with the assistant coaches
guys he's hired
than he does.
Yeah.
So that could be a factor this year. And really, especially if you're going to have a defensive guy that, you're the guy, you're the play caller, you're going to handle the offense. You got a defensive guy that you're putting a lot of stock in. He's probably going to give those guys an opportunity to take a real good look at these guys because they know what they want that defensive guys to look like.
Now, Coach, is it because right now, they've missed all the Senior Bowls and all that because they didn't have a staff together, so they've got to assimilate real fast because the combine's when the end of February.
Yeah,
it's the combine.
1st of March, right?
1st of March, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be very interested to see how they attack that because all these guys they probably got some kind of relationship with one another, but collectively. At the combine, that's where you interview kids. That's where you watching kids and all that kind of stuff. So, they got to get to moving.
Yeah, all those guys will go to the combine.
Yeah.
They've kind of backed off even the Senior Bowl, the head coach is going. Because they send the scouts and probably some of the assistants. I don't know how many of them go. That's changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that they'll all go to the combine. And that will be a major part of the whole thing. But all you're really doing at the combine is the interview.
Yeah.
And all you're looking at is athletic ability.
No,
you really don't know, whether a guy's a really good football player. You got to watch tape to figure that out.
Well, my experience with the combine with one particular team is that, I was interrogated. I don't know if they. Yeah. I don't know if they do that kind of stuff anymore.
No, they do.
But what they do is this particular team. I think it might have been the Colts. They tell you to come to their room, right? And you come into the room, it's a little dark and, ghastly. Say, have a seat, Mr. Searcy. And you go sit in the seat, and you got coaches, GMs all around you asking you all kind of questions. And it felt like a mob hit, Coach. I ain't gonna lie, because everybody coming at me this, that,
trying to get you off your game,
trying to get me off my game.
Exactly.
They're trying
see
to
how you handle the poise part of it.
So I knew exactly what they were trying to do. A reason why I knew what they were exactly do because most Hurricanes that went pro before me, they would prep you on what to expect when you get to the combine.
Right.
So I knew it. I knew it, but it's a little bit intimidating because when you come in that room, they don't say anything to you. They tell you to take a seat. They look you up and down for a minute, and then they start you questions.
So they don't do the old trick of waiting for you to say something first.
No. They ask you questions. Maybe some personal. Where would you do all the money? Do you love the game? Get stuff like that. You love the game, and when you get paid, are you going to forget about all those kind of intricate questions they ask you about when you get money. They're trying to see if once you get paid, are you going to still love ball?
Right.
Is what they're trying to figure out.
That's you got to have the ball players. You don't want the guys that are playing for money. No doubt about that.
Now, other meetings are when they put you on the board.
Yeah.
So there's some meetings where you come in the hotel room and they ask you questions. Other meetings are they put you on the board. They ask you about technique, fundamentals, that kind of stuff and everything. So.
All right. So, we're probably 3 weeks from the combine. I'm pretty sure that's right. They got to make a hire sprightly here.
Yeah.
For a GM. They've already interviewed 8 guys. I wouldn't be shocked at all if 4:45 today they name a GM. And then you go from there because whoever it is has got to be in the building, has got to get to the point before the combine to interview all the scouts, talk to all the scouts, talk to all the assistant coaches, talk to the head coach, evaluate the roster, right?
That's why Ethan Waugh is right in the mix.
What are you trying to say?
Guys.
What are you trying to say right now?
I'm just saying.
Are you trying to tell me that at 4:45 tonight they're going to announce Ethan Waugh and that's it?
No, I think they're going to interview everybody just for information.
All right.
But I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. I'm saying that what you just said
you got to get
is
up to
the
speed
reason
quickly.
Why he has got
why he's
got
that
a
list.
leg up. Now, does this guy go there or does this guy only get to there?
So
And
you're
there's
saying
Waugh.
Ethan Waugh is basically the safe choice right now because
Absolutely.
he knows the roster.
Absolutely.
He knows the franchise.
Yep.
Okay.
He knows the players that are there.
And
'cause
one of
that's what
those
he's been
other 8
studying.
guys is going to have to absolutely blow them away then.
They're going to have to rise above him.
Right.
In my opinion. That's why he's in the mix, in my opinion.
starting to scare me now. You know that, right?
I know, but listen, I could be completely wrong. Believe me, but I'm just saying.
You're the only guy at the table right now with head coach experience, so we're going to take your word for it. All right, we need to go to a break. We're going to get further into this with Coach and Leon about the new OC and new DC. Come on back on the other side. It's XLP.
Another season of NASCAR play-by-play starts Sunday.
Tightened up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 and Maxie's Mechanics.
Winning the Daytona 500
on your NASCAR station, 1010XL.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Joe C. for CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. They can transform your backyard with fire pits, pergolas, screen enclosures, and outdoor kitchens. And CSS handles the entire project from start to finish. You dream it, they build it. CSSOutdoor.com.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com. Show the coupon at the pharmacy and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Love is in the air this February, but nothing kills the mood like a plumbing or HVAC problem. Whether it's a leaky pipe, a backed up septic tank, or your heater isn't keeping things cozy, don't worry. We've got you covered. Call Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Our expert team is here to keep your home running smooth, no matter the issue. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Hey, gang, Prosser here. Are you ready to sell your home? I got an easy game plan. Call Chad and Sandy, the only agents I would call to sell my home. The economy is showing positive signs. It might be time to sell, and your home will get you the price you want with Chad and Sandy. It's easy to find out. Get friendly expert help from the Jacksonville agents who eat, drink, and sleep local real estate. Call agents Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Guess what? You don't need to. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. But it comes down to the Chad and Sandy guarantee. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. All problems have disappeared. Pete in Lakeshore says, I was in a pickle. I needed to cash out on a rental property fast. I was struggling to rent. I heard Chad and Sandy on the radio, called. I had an offer for full asking price within days. Join the local success stories by calling Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or going to chadandsandy.com.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 14, 1966, Wilt Chamberlain of the Philadelphia 76ers scored 41 points in a game against Detroit, breaking the NBA's all-time scoring record at the time.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging in the mirror? Fine lines, sun damage, redness? They don't have to be part of your future. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, and I can help you look and feel your best without invasive surgery or painful treatments. Imagine rejuvenating your skin in a relaxing, comfortable environment with minimal to no downtime. Smooth out fine lines, even skin tone, and restore that youthful glow. Find out how to look and feel your best at Dermagnify.com. Dermagnify.com.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
Yo, E.T. here. And are you looking for some good food, outdoors fun, and plenty to do?
My old stomping grounds in Clay County is the place to be. Check out Clay's diverse local restaurants. They have barbecue, seafood, and Latin restaurants that hit the spot. Paddle alongside the scenic waterways. Cast a line or hit the trail. In the events, there's always something to do for you and the fam. Check out exploreclay.com to plan your next adventure. And when you do, make sure you hashtag ExploreClay on social.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, it's a Heavy Metal Friday. We are back here in XLP. Joe C. doing the Genesis tournament there, PGA Tour, live on PGA Tour International. Look him up. Watch him do it. I'm Matt Hayes, Leon Searcy, our coach. Dave Campo is with us. We're rolling you through this Friday, wrapping up hour number 1. So I want to talk about the new coordinator hires with you, Dave, since they were had their first official press conferences a couple days ago. And I don't think we broke it down with you. Excuse me. Let's look first at Anthony Campanile, since he's paisan with you, okay?
Oh, yeah.
He came out, and just like we said, Leon, he came out, and it was, we're going to be aggressive, we're going to be attacking, all the things that all defensive coordinators say. But I think the one thing, I'm going to play this clip for you from the press conference about how he's going to set the tone for what he wants to see in a defense, what he wants it to be. Because I think right now that, as much as anything, is what this unit needs. We talked about this prior. They've got size and athletes and guys that can run on that defense. They look good. What do you say? Off the hoof? Is that what you say, Leon? Mm-hmm. Off the hoof? Is that what they say?
Hoof,
yeah, they look good. They look good. They're stepping off that bus. They look like a legit D. It's just when they're on that field, it gets obviously a little sideways. JJ, play that real quick.
I think that's just your effort and the enthusiasm you come in the building with every day. You know what I mean? Like me personally, the coaches, the players, it's making sure that our mindset is right every day, and we're on it every day. It's not something you could talk about, though. You know what I mean? Your meetings got to be that way. The practices got to be that way. Individuals got to be that way. Everything you want to go through with a fine-tooth comb with the intention of getting guys better. You know what I'm saying? Everything you do is about getting guys better. Everything we do has to have a purpose, right? So, that's how we walk through. We walk through with detail. We all just kind of sauntering in there and, milling around. That can't be the case. It's got to be done with detail. And everything that we do individually with these guys, look, we film the individual for a reason, right? You film the drills for a reason. You're watching those every day, trying to pick up little things that can help the guys play better and improve their technique so they can go out on Sunday and produce. But that environment, yeah, it's got to be about strain in everything we do, in my opinion.
See, Leon talks about this all the time, and I totally agree with him. But I feel like, we're, and I love Joe to death, but Joe's an NFL shield head. There's no doubt he is. Okay, and he says you can't tell players this, but it's the meticulous discipline. And I'm not talking about you're running laps. I'm talking about the meticulous discipline of what you have to do your job. And I think what he said there really when he said it, I was kind of like, whoa, this dude gets it. It just looked like they were going through the motion out there, man, all the time. And when they were missing pass offs, that made you crazy when they were missing pass offs. But you are not missing pass offs in zone coverage if you are meticulously disciplined in what you're supposed to do to get your job done, correct?
Yep, absolutely. I think that's a big deal. I think that no matter how much time you have to get a team ready, you have to concentrate on fundamentals. The fundamentals of the game haven't changed in 100 years. I'm going back, not 100, but I'm going back quite a ways. They have not changed, and it really comes down to accountability. The way you get to a player, and I guarantee you Leon will agree with me 100%, the way you get to a player is to convince him not about the things he does well, but the things that he doesn't do well that he has to improve on in order to be an outstanding player. When you come in, you get with that player and you put that film on and you say, look, I don't need to tell you that you can run and that you can get your hands on guys and you can do this and that. But look, you're turning your shoulders up front. You're not staying square to the line of scrimmage. Right. You're not pressing out with the outside hand to get off a block. Those kind of things are what makes the difference. And you have to. The one thing that I had a hard time with Coach Nielsen was I don't think you get that when you're changing people over and over and over again. I think the
hockey line changes.
I think you have to have the guy has to. He said it. Campanile said it. He said you got a hand placement enough to where it's like karate. You do it over and over and over again. That you know that if you do this and this, you're going to get off that block and you're going to go get some. Make the tackle.
Right.
So to me, I think that's the one thing he knows what he's talking about is that it comes down to, and he's made it very clear that they're going to play with their hair on fire. Well, that's easy to say, but
they all say that.
That's coach speak.
Right.
But if they don't show up in that film, the film goes beyond the end of the play 1 or 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
If you don't show up in there, that's accountability. So that's got to be part of his fundamentals, is making sure that everybody shows up in that picture, meaning that everybody's going full speed to the whistle.
Now, Big Searce, we always say this to you. You're a different cat, okay? And I know you're going to say, well, I did it because I want to be better. And I get all that. But how do you reach these young dudes that are not like you? Like, how do you get them to where they're not offended by coaching like that?
Well, to talk about what Coach was talking about, if you want to be great, you want to be taught, you want to be coached on what you don't do well. Okay, because as a player, you know your strengths and your weaknesses. So every day, I don't need to be coddled in what I do good. I need to be told what I don't do well. So in practice, I can work on the things that I don't do well. And I knew what my weaknesses were. I was a very explosive guy, but I had a tendency to I tried to knock everything over. All right, and I'm just being honest. I was very explosive off the ball and everything.
Right,
come off the ball with. But the one thing, and this is what TC told me. He actually brought me in there in '96, watching film on the game right there, where he says that Leon, you come off the ball amazingly explosive with it. He said, but you got to learn how to finish. So
your first year, he told you this.
He told me that.
How many games in you think it was?
It might have been 5, maybe about 5 games.
Wow.
And he was showing me on film where I would hit people and knock them back, but then not finish them. So him telling me that, I worked on that in practice. I knew I was quick, fast, explosive. I know I had good hands, feet, and everything. But it was a part of my game that I wanted to enhance. So I worked on it in practice. And another thing, this team needs to learn how to compete, all right? This is a little old school. During training camp, that's how you get your body acclimated for the season. You go hard, you go physical. It's all right not to like your defensive side, because I didn't like them. And they didn't like me. All right, but in that competition of each other, and the coaching staff they competed. The offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, they going at it.
Right,
they're trying to kill each other on the field. But you don't understand that what that does is it sparks you for the season, because now you know that you can rely on them when you need them, and we know that they know that they can rely on us because we done already put in the time. We done put in the competition, the time, and we trust each other. And I just think that this team needs to get back to that volume where they're competing at a very high level. And then when it comes, I told you, I was talking about this last week. I said, I can tell you everything I need to know about this team in the fourth quarter. Because you know what? In the fourth quarter, they don't compete. They don't finish. They get tired. They get worried. And fatigue makes cowards of us all.
They were 3-10 in one-possession games.
In the fourth quarter. I mean, there was a reason why back in the day at Miami, we split up 4 fingers. And the reason why we put up 4 fingers because we knew in the fourth quarter the game was ours.
Right, and everybody thinks that's hokey because everybody does it.
No.
But that's
real.
That's everything, right?
It's real. That's why and Jimmy would tell us that's why you run them gassers. That's why you do
16 110s.
All that stuff. Because you know in the fourth quarter he tired, you tired. But it's a war of wills. Who wants it more? And I can tell you everything I need to know about this team is how they play in the fourth quarter.
Today, let me ask you this, Dave. as a coach watching that defense, did they look like they were a team with want and will? Because we talk about that all the time, man. Football is a game of want and will. Did that defense look like that?
Not really. I just felt like there was something missing, and it was missing all the way from the end of the 2 years ago and this past year.
Right.
They just didn't have that mentality. I go back to one of my favorite coaches of all time was Hubbard Alexander. Hubbard was a receiver coach, and he handled Michael Irvin like a drum. And Michael was the best, okay? He and I, one day in practice, he jumped on one of my guys.
Hubbard did?
Yeah.
Okay.
He jumped on one of the DBs because he came up and hit one of the receivers a little bit too hard, in his opinion, in practice. Well, I jumped in, and he and I had a verbal altercation right there on the field. I go in the locker room. 2 DBs come up to me and say, "That's the way to have our back, coach. That's a bunch of baloney, blah, 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 blah."
Right.
So that's why when I listen to Campanelli talk, I think he's that kind of guy. I think he will have their back, and that is what gets guys to play well, is when you have their back and they trust you and they say to you, "You need to go faster," you go faster. That's just part of the whole thing from the team standpoint.
But honestly, Nielsen was a young guy. Nielsen was a rah-rah type of guy. There's not much of a difference.
Yeah, but
very similar, right?
I don't know. I thought he was kind of standoffish, if you ask me. I don't know that they had a real. I walked up to him in practice one day, and I don't want to bury a dead horse because
it's all right.
That horse is dead.
It's dead, but you can bring up.
But I walked in with him, and he coached at Central Connecticut where I played. So I walked up to him, and he's going in after practice. So, he's tired, and, it was in the heat and all that stuff. So I walked up, and I said, "Hey, Coach, I'm Dave Campo. I just wanted to say hello. I played at Central Connecticut." And he gave me, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's good. Good to see you," and then just kept walking. That was kind of his mentality, and I think that shows up
very surface
in the way the team played.
Yeah,
I don't think he was real deep.
Very transactional.
Yeah. And to me, you got to have. That's why I like this young group, because of the enthusiasm. You got some guys that are young, they're ready to go after it. They're going to be more upbeat, all those kind of things, and I think that makes a difference.
So your thing is, if he's transactional like that with you, he may be transactional with a backup defensive end or something.
Yeah,
whereas the more you're invested in players, the more they're going to work to be better for you.
Investment is really big.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And again, I don't, like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but some of it is just plain they weren't on the same page with a lot of stuff.
Right.
And that could be within the coaching staff as well.
Right. All right. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We're going to get more into the defense and the new offense as well with Grant Udinsky and figure out our way through this mess as we move toward the combine and of course the all critical draft, which maybe they'll figure it out this time. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. We hope so. All right, come on back on the other side. It's XLP.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Brunell with time again. Drills it deep. Caught touchdown. Jimmy Smith.
1010XL.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
If you've played sports or still lead an active life, chances are joint pain is nothing new. This is Dr. George Barry of Barry Orthopedics, and we like to be your option when it comes to taking care of your body and getting back in the game. From shoulders to elbows to hip and knee pain, Barry Orthopedics can diagnose and treat a variety of injuries that are causing you pain. We are Barry Orthopedics and online at barryorthopedics.com. With more than 30 years of experience, our team is here to care for your entire family.
Find out more at barryorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Dan and Jeff take you down the fairway with the PGA Tour professionals. Keep an eye on this one. Brunch with the Tour.
Tour news, tips, and inside info. Brought to you by
Clearwater Irrigation, 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off. And interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings in our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband and wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and I tell you what, you got something really cool coming up. A Triumph Off-Road Day. Give us all the details.
We do. It's February 22nd. It's at North Florida Motocross Park up in Hilliard. We're going to be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. doing demo rides. Bring your gear and come ride a Triumph dirt bike.
And that means you can find out everything that Triumph has to offer off-road.
Absolutely. We will have the 250 and the new 450 ready to ride.
Check it out. All the details are on Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Skilled trade jobs are booming, so begin your high-pay, high-demand career today through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Get paid while you train, full-time, in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, or plumbing. Plus, earn a 10% raise every year, and the classes are 100% tuition-free. Start your new career today and apply this week at nefpaapprenticeship.org.
Transform your bathroom with stunning shower glass from Sky Glass Solutions in Jacksonville Beach. For a free quote, call 904-608-5151 or visit skyglasssolutions.com.
I-9 Sports invites parents on the First Coast to log on and check out what they can offer with sports year-round. Spring and summer registration open right now, and with ages 3 to 7, there's something for everyone. i9sports.com, enter 1010 in the promo code, and get your kid in the game.
Here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Newly hired defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile is a coach that has high standards for the way he wants his players to play. The former Packers linebackers coach takes pride in the talent of his players and knows that it's ultimately them who define the outcome of games. Coach Campanile gave his core tenets on that they needed to make his defense work at yesterday's press conference.
Coaching, scheme, all that stuff, that's great, really important. But at the end of the day, the players win the game. And the violence at the point of attack, the effort, the strain, and the finish that it takes to not stay blocked and run to the football, that's what really creates a great defense. We want guys that are going to play with their shoulders square, be able to read everybody's number and name tag every play, and attack contact, never turn it down. Those are tenets of a great defense. Those are tenets of all the great defenses in the history of football and the great defenses I've ever been around.
It's 64 degrees at 3:02. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, we're back in XLP. It's a Heavy Metal Friday. JJ the DJ spinning it. You can reach him on the text line brought to you by good friends Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. You guys are eating up the text line already anyway. Ask JJ. He'll play a tune or two for you. May even play one for you, Coach. I don't know if you're into any heavy metal stuff, but we'll find something, I'm sure.
Coach loves Pantera.
He does. He does. Fellas, I don't know if you saw this, the Eagles parade. And Jay just gave me another great anecdote about the Eagles parade. But they're having the parade and going down the street, and Saquon Barkley sees their ball boy in the crowd. Gets off the float, runs over to him, picks him up out of the crowd, over the rope from the crowd, brings him into the parade.
That's great.
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's a good dude right there.
He picked him up like grocery, like
it was nothing.
Like
right?
it was nothing.
Like a bag of groceries. Seriously,
that's pretty cool, man.
That's really cool. That's a good dude. Right
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah,
that's a guy who's been brought up the right way. That's a guy who went to a program that developed him the right way. James Franklin was a great dude. James Franklin was a great coach, a great developer of young dudes. He may not win big games, but he's a great dude. JJ, you also told me about another interesting anecdote from this parade.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but, in a parade, fans are throwing beers at the players, on the floats.
Like full beers.
Yeah, like a can of beer, like to give them beer, not throwing at them, throwing to them.
Okay.
Totally different. It is Philly, but, yeah, throwing to them, not at them. Well, Howie Roseman, general manager, took a can of beer to the face. Like, he's got a huge cut over his forehead, blood, huge welt, but he's got a cigar in his mouth and he's partying his ass off.
So the blood's coming down his face.
Yeah.
Is his face a crimson mass, JJ?
No, but you could tell where the scar, it's going to be scarred for a while, but hey, I would happily take that.
Do they still do that in pro wrestling?
Where they cut themselves?
Yeah, they don't do it in
bit.
AEW. I know that, right? They don't.
I doubt it. That was more of like a ECW. That was like
the Sunshine State stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The lower tier of wrestling.
Hey, that was some good wrestling now. Dusty Road.
His face is a crimson mask.
Yeah. Come on, that was Saturday morning wrestling when I was a shorty.
There's nothing good.
Beautiful
nothing wrong about that.
That was one of the most fun I had in coaching was the parade after one of the Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys had in the back-to-back year, people are reaching out and they're high-fiving them. We were in cars. We weren't on a float. We were in cars, two to a car. Guys are reaching out, this and that and the other thing. He had his Super Bowl ring out, and he reached out and clapped somebody's hand, and the guy grabbed his hand and tried to pull a Super Bowl ring off.
Really?
It was wild. Yeah, that was one of the most fun I've had at any time in my
Now,
whole
when do you
coaching
get
career.
the Super Bowl ring for the next one? Like, when will the Eagles get their rings?
In the summer.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes, because they design their own rings, JJ. So after the Super Bowl, everybody gets together, probably the personnel, the administration, and they'll pick 2 or 3 players. Like Michael Irvin was one of them when we had our first one, and he said, I don't care what the ring looks like as long as there's a lot of that bling on it. Whatever's on it,
Not
put it
shocked
on
by
there.
that.
So that was kind of that was his idea of what the ring should look like. Throw a lot of diamonds on that, baby.
Love that idea.
Look,
I wouldn't know how that feels. I wouldn't know how that feels.
Yeah, Leon, how was your parade slash
He's
ring?
not happy right now.
Wasn't my national championship.
Oh, that was
Okay, there you go. He's got plenty of rings.
Yeah, I had 3 of them. They were nice.
They're hurting you right now, aren't they?
Huh?
They're hurting you right
No,
now.
I just don't know that feeling. That's why I want the Super Bowl feeling. But the national championship parade was awesome. Confetti everywhere. We went downtown, had convertibles.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what
It
it
was
was.
nice. It was real nice.
And you still got the rings, right?
Oh, yeah. My auntie got them.
Yeah, good.
Auntie keeps everything.
Auntie keeps everything, man.
I hope she keeps it locked in a safe.
Yeah, she
No
does.
kidding.
By the way.
All right, Jaguars completed their interview with Ian Cunningham today for the general manager spot. He's assistant GM with the Bears currently. He's now the eighth guy interviewed, unless you count Ethan Waugh, which would be 9. And we've got the date that, the NFL calendar doesn't stop for anything or anyone. So we got the Combine coming up February 27th through March 2nd. And I believe there's like a date they have to have a GM hired by. I'm pretty sure it's like the 26th of
It is.
of February,
That's what
right?
it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you got to have somebody in by then. So you're on a clock right now. You're on a 12-day clock right now. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if it later today, even during the Frangie show, boom. Because Frank has that power. He has that power that they name the GM. How many more are you gonna interview? You've interviewed 8. And 9 counting Ethan Waugh. How many more guys are you going to interview for the job? At what point is it paralysis by analysis?
Well, I think they may bring in guys for a second shot, second round, and they might have had a virtual originally, although I don't think so. I think they had the whole 8 or whatever they are, and then they may bring in 4 or 5
more.
The same guys.
Yeah, but for a second round.
Yeah, that's probably why they're talking about maybe by next Friday having something done.
Wow, that's it.
I'm in no hurry.
That's it.
Have you not?
You're
seen
in no
this?
hurry.
Have you not looked at this team over the last decade and a half? Take your time. Let's get it right this time. Let's fix this thing.
Yeah, maybe they've had so many interviews because they're like, these guys suck.
Bro, I'm in no hurry.
You're okay if they even blow the deadline of the 26th?
No, I need someone. Don't blow the deadline.
Well, what happens? What do they make Sean sell the team?
No,
does he get fined or something? I
think
even
that
know.
whoever they hire, it's something about the combine. They can't go to the combine. I don't know what it is. It's just a deadline. Some kind of. We'll ask Carline when he comes in later in this hour. So the combine is February 27 to March 2. The draft is April 24 to 26 in Green Bay this year, fellas. That'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
There will be.
Yeah, it'll be. They'll be a little nutty there.
The combine's in Green Bay?
No, the draft.
No, the draft.
The combine's in Indianapolis every year. So those are obviously the 2 critical dates, all right, for player procurement in the NFL with the draft. Tony Baselli was on the drill, of course, earlier this week, and he kind of explained the process of where they're headed as far as getting the GM, and then once you get it, what's going to happen as far as the draft and the combine and all of that. JJ,
we're going to go build this the right way, and we're going to go through it. And we've been, our scouts and led by Ethan have been working their tails off throughout the whole weekend. They worked, getting us everything ready for the combine. So, we're going to go get the right GM, just like we got the right head coach, and then the GM and the head coach will work together, and I'll be a part of it. But those guys are going to go, understand what the attributes and the type of players we want and how we want to play football. And then we have we're going to end up with a great GM. Like, I believe we got a great head coach, and we have really good scouts in this building, and they'll put together a plan. We'll go execute it.
All right, your teammate, bro. Sounds a little different now that he's the
a lot of
AVP.
greats. A lot of greats.
Sounds a little bit different now that he's the AVP.
Great.
Because,
It's going to be great and perfect. And
because
we hired a great coach, and we're going to hire a great GM, and everything's going to be good.
Because honestly, the segments with the fellows on the drill prior were phenomenal. The Baselli segments were awesome. He sounds a little corporate right now already. Are you worried?
No, I'm not worried. I mean, listen, he's got.
I want Bo to get like elbows in it, man. Elbows in it.
He's gonna be elbows in it.
All
I
right.
mean, if he takes upon this job the same way he played, he's gonna be all
right.
Well, he did say later that he's not part of the player.
He said
process.
He'll
like,
give
I'll
his
give
opinion
an
if they ask.
But I'm not a scout. They've been doing this for years, and he made it pretty adamant that he's not part of that.
Yeah. Well, I know he's going to be feisty. I know he's going to be opinionated. I mean, I know he wants this thing to turn around. I know it's a slight on him that, you were the first we call him the firstborn.
Right.
You're the firstborn, and to see this franchise be in disarray,
right?
When all the success that we had as players, I know that's frustrating to him. So he wants to see this thing turn around, and he wants to be a part of it turning around.
Right.
So I mean, he probably won't have any decision making as far as picking players and personnel and getting players face and all that other kind of stuff. But you remember, I was in meetings with him when we prayed and practiced. So he's going to be feisty.
Yeah, well, he also knows the game, obviously.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I know
he'll be in on the interviews.
Yeah,
He'll have his opinion.
I just here's my problem with it. I don't like the fact that he said, if they ask, I'll give my opinion. I want his opinion in free agency. He may not want to give it in the college draft, and that's fine. But when these guys are on the field, they're getting the NFL and they play, he knows what's good and what's not good. Like, I want him to go, no, that dude can't play. What are you guys doing? Like, I would like him to do that.
Yeah, I would too. I'm not sure.
He knows what good is, does he not?
He does know who good is. He does. So
he knows what not good is too.
Especially for, like Leon said earlier about the bigs, and I said,
oh yeah,
I would trust his opinion better than my own in some ways. If I'm watching a guy, if both of us are watching a guy at the same time, that's an offensive guard, I would take his opinion.
He's a Hall of Famer. Why wouldn't you?
You would have to when it comes to the offensive line.
Yeah, the bigs.
And listen, we've both had conversations and how this offensive line over the last couple in passing and how frustrating it is that this offensive line hasn't been playing better. So I'm sure when the conversations of the guys that are in free agency or in the draft, as far as the bigs go, he knows what good offensive line play looks like. So his evaluation or his expertise is going to be utilized, I would hope.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or like when you're talking about offensive linemen, like you say, I can tell you right now what's wrong with Anton Harrison. You break it down. Like that's what I want to hear him do. Like if they're talking about two different people, I don't know why you wouldn't ask his opinion on that. Hey, we're thinking about signing this guy for X amount. What do you think of him? You've watched him. What do you think of him? Right? I mean, wouldn't you think that?
I mean, because we spent our whole careers watching film.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And playing the position.
Yeah. We played the position at a very high level, and we spent a mass majority of our career watching film. So if you would give me some tape, if you give me some tape on the offensive lineman, I watch it. I need tape game. I don't need no highlights.
Right.
So I don't want highlights. I want game film, so I can watch games. I can assess, if this kid could be utilized, and I'm not sure if I could be specific in what round he would go, but I can tell you some of the things he does good, some of the things he doesn't do well.
Right.
Yeah, I can do that. It's easy.
All right, so Dave, this is an interesting part of this topic, and you're obviously the perfect person to ask because you're a former NFL head coach. We always hear how GMs and head coaches go to the quarterback and say, "What do you want? What do you need?" As an NFL head coach, did you ever go to a player and say, "Look, we're thinking about signing this linebacker"? Did you go to your best linebacker and say, "What do you think of this guy?" Or did you go to an offensive lineman that had to deal with this linebacker? What did you think of this guy? Did you ever do that?
No.
So and what's the reason why you wouldn't ask a player's opinion on that?
Because I think the guys that are really, I think sometimes the players, because of association, would not have an honest opinion on guys. The scouts look at the one thing about when you say the assistant coaches and the scouts watch every tape on the guy, just like Leon said. Right. Assistant coaches don't. They look at highlight tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can only tell so much off a highlight tape.
Right.
The scouts watch every tape. Now, whether or not he's as good an evaluator as I am, I don't know.
Right.
But that's the difference. And a player, a lot of times, is buddies more than than watching a guy every down. Now, I know Leon as a player looked at other guys to hone in on some of their techniques in comparison to what they did. Okay, so if they've seen a guy like that and they studied him, you could get something out of it. But usually they're studying guys that are better than they are.
Like Leon infamously says all the time, Neil Smith gave him all kind of problems.
Yeah.
So if Neil Smith,
not Neil Smith,
who was it?
Reggie.
Who was the Chiefs' end? He said gave you problems. Leslie O'Neal.
Derek Thomas.
Derek Thomas. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say it was Leslie O'Neal, okay, or Neil Smith, whoever. Okay.
No, I work with Neil Smith, but go ahead.
All right, that's fine. I'm just saying. Let's just say in our dream world right now, okay.
Right, that part. Go ahead.
If Leon goes to the either offensive line coach or the head coach and said that dude was wearing me out, and your offensive tackle is an all pro level tackle, that doesn't hold any weight at all.
Well, I think it would if I just never did it.
Right.
I don't.
Right. You never even thought of doing it.
Not really. I mean, we had what we thought they should look like, and that's how we went.
And you went by your process. Your process is we are the Alveyers, and they are,
This guy talks, this guy talks, this guy talks, this guy talks.
Right.
They've all watched the film.
So is it true then that when we hear, coaches or GMs go to the quarterback and say, what do you want? Is that true?
Only not whether or not we should. Are you saying, what are we looking
I mean, strictly with personnel. Like, what do you want?
We took Troy Aikman down to University of Texas, and he worked the guy out.
Really?
A receiver.
Really?
Yeah. So that's been done, but not
a guy coming into the draft.
Guy coming into the draft.
Wow.
When we went down to work out at the facility, we brought one year we brought Troy and another. This was when I was a DB coach.
Right.
We were looking at a DB that went with the 7th or 8th pick in the draft.
Right.
We had Harper came down
Alvin
with him
Harper, wide receiver.
Worked routes on him. That's been done before.
That's when you were there too. Same thing.
No, Reggie Wayne's pro day.
Right.
Peyton Manning was there.
Yeah.
He was throwing to him.
He was throwing to him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
So, I mean, and, of course, Peyton, had a relationship with him. I think in the off season, I think he might, I think Payne worked with him in the off season when he was in college.
Okay.
You know how they,
they get together. Yeah.
Pro quarterbacks go college.
Yeah.
Yep. So Payton at Reggie Wayne's pro day, he was there throwing to Reggie Wayne. And then when the draft comes along, who do they draft?
It's always a quarterback.
So my answer to you was probably not. What you just brought up has been done. Okay, but not going to a specific guy and saying, a guy coming to you and saying, this guy wore me out.
Right.
We saw him.
I was talking like at the pro personnel level, not the college personnel level.
Yeah, no, really. Honestly, it's the quarterbacks. We did that a lot over the years with Troy.
And so you when you're going into a free agent season, you never ask the players, what do you think our weaknesses are?
Not really.
Really.
But I'll tell you one thing. My last year, do you remember David LaFleur?
Yeah.
Tight end.
Tight end, of course. Yeah, LSU.
Troy jumped up on the table for him, and he wasn't worth a darn.
Interesting. So that's why you don't trust players then, right?
Yeah. He never saw Jason Witten. But he saw David LaFleur, and we signed David LaFleur.
Right. Never saw Witten.
No. So I think probably you go more on the guys that are looking at him all the time. And,
you go more on your process. You go more on your scouts and your. Yeah, I get that. I totally get it. All right. We need to go to break. We'll come back, get more into this. It's XLP.
Your home for Florida Gators basketball is 1010XL.
The Gators confront the Gamecocks for combat at O'Connell, Florida, South Carolina. Tomorrow night at 8 on 1010XL.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast orthopedic specialists.
Pick it here for Bound 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bound 9. Visit Bound 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bound 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
1010XL celebrates African Americans who positively impacted the First Coast. I'm RJ Saunders, and I'll share Black History Month stories with you throughout February. Black History Month on 1010XL is brought to you by Instant Keys and McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. Every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude, stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm Chris Campione. In a world of big box law firms with satellite offices, there's something special about having a local legal team that cares about you and your community. We're not just lawyers, we're your neighbors. We understand the unique challenges facing the Jacksonville community because we live here too. At Campione Law, Campione Cares isn't just a tagline, it's our commitment to you. Campione Law, your trusted lawyers after an accident. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too. From Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, we're back in XLP. We're missing Joe C. He's doing his work with the Genesis there and the PGA International. Look him up on TV. Watch him do it. It's impressive. Matt Hayes, Leon Searcy, our coach, Dave Campo. We got about a half hour to go. So I wanted to get into the whole youth thing because Leon and I kind of coined these guys the young guns yesterday. And I think we're going to stick with that too, by the way.
I like it.
When you guys arrived with the Cowboys in 89, you were considered a young group of coaches for that time. Like now young coaches are in their, late 20s, early 30s. But you guys, you had a core of guys that were either 40 or younger on your staff, right?
Correct.
So did the whole youth thing, when you guys got in there, you were, I'm guessing, kind of looked down upon by the rest of the established shield heads, probably looked down on you, correct?
Well, first of all, the league at the time, it was like musical chairs. It was a good old boys league. And, it's like the music's going, and then the music stops. You have to have a chair to sit down. Well, when Jimmy brought us 6 guys from the University of Miami, that was 6 chairs that were changed. So now all of a sudden everybody didn't think we knew our butt from a hole in the ground. And the thing is that the difference was that when we came in, we were teachers. And that's what you get from the college level. You can say whatever you want. You got a coach when you're in college.
Right.
And I said this the other day, and I've said it on a number of shows. Dave Wanstead, Butch Davis, Dave Campo, Joe Brodsky, Hubbard Alexander, Tony Wise, none of us had any NFL experience. And here we came. And 4 years later, we win the Super Bowl. So it really comes down to how do you evaluate players? Can you develop players? And you have to be a teacher. And I think Liam Cohen has made that statement a bunch of times, that he's looking for guys that can teach. Because, again, I go back to teach the fundamentals of the game. And you don't do so much that guys can't learn it. The worst thing you can have is somebody standing next to you on the sideline that's a better player than a guy on the field because he can't understand what you're doing on the other side.
Yeah, that's not good.
That doesn't work.
That's not good.
So you have to make sure that everything you do, I always say this, one of the things that bothers me a little bit about the young coaches, and I don't know, this is kind of a generalization, but when we broke down stuff and taught,
right,
we were on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
We had to write everything down.
Right.
We had to do everything. We had to draw it up. You had to do this. Today, there's a little bit too much of this.
iPad?
What do you call it? Where you throw it up on the screen?
Projected?
Yeah,
Projection?
whatever that is, that new stuff. And you don't learn as much when you're just looking at stuff in comparison to when, you have to teach it.
Right.
You have to teach it because you know it, not because you're reading it off of something up on the board.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and coming from the University of Miami, when we were in those meetings, because Tony Wise was my coach, we took notes. You couldn't be in there just not doing. You wrote down everything because the coach is on the board. He's giving up the play. He's talking about the different blocks. You had to know the terminology of the block, and you got tested every week before the game.
Well, these guys get tested, right? They take notes.
I don't know if they do or not. But what I did is I carried that over to the league. So now I'm in the league. I got notes on everybody I play, what their tendencies are. Strahan, Derek Thomas, all those guys. So I had a notebook of their tendencies because most of the time they're not going to change up that much.
Right.
Right. So every guy that I went up against, I had notes on. And I carried those notes year in, year out. I took notes on. I watched them, tendencies. What does he lead with? His left foot, his right foot. When does when he tries to set you up with the spin, does the bull come? All that stuff. So then now, when you go into a game and you're playing that particular guy, in practice, you tell the scout team guy, this is what I want you to work on because this is what I'm going to see on Sundays. I'm going to see this move, double move, one-arm bar, spin, chop, whatever.
Right.
So now I can get my body acclimated to what I'm going to see on Sundays.
You know, one of the things that's different about the old days and the new days is everybody today, because of all of the stuff they see on the internet, on all these different things, everybody wants to know the why. Why am I doing this? So the teachers of today have to make sure they understand why we're doing whatever we're teaching them to do.
Right.
And that's, to me, is just enthusiasm by the coaches.
Right.
And how much they believe in what they're doing and how they get it across to the player.
All right, so Grant Udinski was talking earlier this week about the youth and the staff and what that means for this franchise.
I probably wouldn't describe it like that. I would say we have an energetic staff for sure. So maybe that's how I would look at it there. But in the sense of youth, I think you feel the energy, the excitement, the passion for football, for coaching, and the work that goes into making this thing ultimately what we want it to be. And I think that carries over not only into our interactions with each other so far, but I think that will show up in our relationships with the players and the relationships, hopefully, with everyone else in the building. So I think the energy there is palpable.
Does it feel different than maybe the staff that you started on in Carolina in 2020?
Every staff is different. Every staff is unique, certainly. At the end of the day, football is still played by people. It's still coached by people. So it's individuals. So it's certainly different in some ways. There are probably some ways that it's similar. But ultimately, every staff you're on is different. Even year to year, you typically have a guy leave. It's just like players on the coaching staff. It's never going to be the same exact staff every year. So there's certainly some differences.
So here's the thing about the youth. And we're going to go with young guns because I love it. But, I mean, Chad Hall is young. Press Taylor is young. Guess what? The offense still sucked. So I think it's about what he's talking about there. And I think we should circle all the way back to what Campanile said. And Campanile, if he coaches as half as well as he handles interviews and handles, like, you know, you see video of him talking to the team in the team meeting room, he's going to crush it.
Yeah,
he's going to crush it. Because I think it goes back to just meticulously doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And knowing what you're supposed to do.
Correct.
And then going over and over. Leon talks about it. You know, honestly, Leon, how many of those guys you think have a pad out with not only taking notes, but do you think these guys have an idea of guys they play, especially division opponents?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the breakdowns, or they just wait for the video guy to come give them a breakdown? Okay, here's your opponent this week.
I don't have the answer to that. I mean, they would have to have had them. I told you I learned mine from Miami, so they would have to have some carryover for whatever school they right. You know what I'm saying? Or they would have to have some kind of mentor, you know, that's already been in the league and teach them how to be a professional,
right?
How to be able to evaluate different guys and tendencies and breakdowns and all that kind of stuff. So either you had it while you was in college and brought it to the league, or you got somebody in the league that's a veteran, a leader that can teach you how to do that.
You know what we did? After 2 or 3 days of training camp, Leon, bring your notebook up here and put it on the screen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You see who's taking notes.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. It's accountability.
Yeah.
It's all accountability. And to me, I think enthusiasm goes a long way. Like Udinski said. I think enthusiasm goes a long way, because if I'm talking to you and I'm into it and I'm passionate,
yeah,
you're going to react to me a lot better.
It's one of the things I love about you, by the way.
Yeah. If I just sit there and go, well, look, you're supposed to, backpedal over here and go over there and do this and do that.
Right. I'm not invested.
No, it's not.
I'm detaching quickly.
You don't have the passion is not there. And I think that's a big part of it, to be honest with you.
But his point, to my point about the meticulous discipline, him taking notes like that is meticulous discipline.
Absolutely.
That's what that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a proponent of how you do the little things is how you do everything.
Yeah.
How you do the little things is how you do everything. I got to be able to trust you when we down 5 with 2 minutes to go in the game, that you're going to do the little things to make sure that guy gets blocked. You're going to do the little things to make sure you don't jump off sides or get a penalty on that. I got to be able to trust you. Yeah. But if in order for me to trust you in that particular moment, I got to see it way back in camp that you're willing to do the little things in camp.
Exactly.
To get you to the point where we're in that situation where I know I don't have to blink because I know that guy right there I can trust. He's accountable. Yeah, you got to earn that trust, bro. I got to see you do it.
Right.
I got to see you do it in camp when nobody's watching, to be able to trust you to do it when the chips are.
Day, right?
Yes.
Sunday. Yeah. All right, one segment to go. It's been a fascinating couple hours. We're going to wrap this thing up. Come back on the other side. It's XLP.
Where imagination drives passion.
Jacksonville, a city of dreams.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
It's the President's Day weekend sale going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here. Come shop over 800 vehicles in one location. Plus, now through Monday at Arlington, you get financing as low as 0% on select new models. Or you can save up to $8,500 off select new Toyotas. And at Arlington, you can get pre-qualified without it affecting your credit score. It's the President's Day weekend sale going on now at Arlington Toyota on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scotty Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. South State has helped our businesses and charity grow and thrive. Whether you're expanding your operations, managing cash flow, or planning for the future, South State Bank offers forward-thinking, tailored solutions to meet your unique business needs. With expert guidance and best-in-class service, South State is here to help you move your business forward. Visit southstatebank.com or stop by your local branch today. Let South State become your partner in taking your business to the next level. That's South State Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 14, 1966, Wilt Chamberlain of the Philadelphia 76ers scored 41 points in a game against Detroit, breaking the NBA's all-time scoring record at the time.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub
for you. Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daly's Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A broken pipe? That's no way to woo. This Valentine's Day, don't let plumbing or HVAC problems ruin the romance. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Shopping for your Valentine and dreaming of seeing that smile? Then make sure you swing by Golden Diamonds Direct for a beautiful piece of jewelry made with quality and care. Joe C. for Golden Diamonds Direct in the Plantation Publix Plaza on Racetrack Road. They've been in business for over 40 years, taking care of customers the right way with great gift ideas. Golden Diamonds Direct on Racetrack Road in the Plantation Publix Plaza. Chip, Curtis, Sam, and the crew, they can take care of you so you can take care of your Valentine.
Pickett here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. Dylan Denmark here with 1010XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to and should be yours. Online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
My takeaway is that, I'm all aboard the youth movement, the young coaches. Coach Campo just spoke on this off the air. We're going to find out what kind of dogs we got on this team because they'll reveal themselves real quick. Wasn't our dogs on this team last year? I don't care what you say. This team plays soft, slow, and methodical. Now, if they could do something with that, they can do something with that energy to turn that around, I'm all aboard for it. But I'm still going to question mark the leadership on this team because I've seen too much quit in this team last year, and hopefully they can get rid of all that.
Yeah, my takeaway is kind of the same thing from the standpoint that I'm really looking forward to watching the energy, the passion, and everything that our coaches exhibit. I think they're all saying the right thing right now from what I can hear. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do on the field, and I just have a good feeling about this young group.
All right, my takeaway is 2 words: meticulous discipline. If you have meticulous discipline on defense, you get more than 9 takeaways. Meticulous discipline in everything you do. That's what I hope Anthony Campanile brings to that defense, because the defense he was at last year, the Green Bay Packers, were one of 4 teams in the NFL with 30 or more takeaways. 30. You know how many wins 30 takeaways leads to?
Absolutely. That's it's the biggest thing.
It's there. Any coach at any level will tell you this, and Dave, our former NFL coach, will tell you the same thing. The turnover battle is everything.
Absolutely.
Everything. The more you get, the more you win, correct?
And it comes down to what you're talking about, that, Campanile has made the statement. I heard him say that every single drill we do is going to finish with a takeaway. Whether it's punching the ball in a tackle, whether it's hand placement,
right?
Whether it's, attacking the ball when it's in the air, whatever it is, it's going to be with the idea of taking the ball away, because he knows that's how you win games.
But that can be coached.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like stripping the ball, punching the ball, those things can be coached. And if it's, like you said, if there's an emphasis on it.
You know what we did in the old days? I don't know if you could do it anymore. I think it was probably illegal even when we were doing it. But on defense, when we were with the Cowboys going back to 1989, we paid the guys $5 We kept track of
That is
in
legal.
practice.
You're supplementing the salary cap.
Every day. Okay, but it was only $5. But guess what? They loved it because the agents didn't get a hold of it, the IRS didn't get a hold of it, and their wives didn't get a hold of it. That was cash in their pocket. So every time a guy had a turnover, we gave him $5.
It's like the swear jar. When you swear, you throw a buck
Absolutely, but it's the emphasis is what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah.
It has to be emphasized in everything you do.
And I mean, and honestly, Leon, not any different than the offensive line, right? Not any different. And like, if you're meticulously disciplined with a minute and 30 to go in the game, and you're at your 1 yard or 2 yard line against Cleveland Browns, you got to drive a chance to win the game. You're not getting beat on the first play and get your quarterback sacked.
No, you're right. But like I said, I got to be able to trust you. It's got to be coached in OTAs, mini camps, training camps. For me, because the offensive line is a good offensive line is all about trust. That you got to trust the guy next to you to get the job done, because mass majority of the time y'all working together, especially in interior three. They're working together on pass protection, passing off twists and blitz and all that kind of stuff. Offensive guard and the tackle, they work on double teams, they work on twist games, they work on blitz coming out here, slide protection, slips, double all that kind of stuff. So it's got to be a trust across the board, or it'll all go to hell. It's got to be like a fist. Just think about a fist without a finger.
By the way, that wasn't Aaron Donald, by the way, that blew up that. It wasn't even a double team. It was a blown assignment. It wasn't like this was an elite D lineman that sacked Trevor for safety against the Browns. Like, this is base stuff, right?
Yeah.
You hear the play call, you know what you got to do.
Listen, I mean, I was able to beat or block guys off a technique and fundamental alone. That was my itch. That's how a 6'3.5", 305-pound tackle survived in the league. Techniques and fundamentals, the whole way. I mean, yeah, I had a good punch, a good feet on, all this kind of stuff. But when I came out, I was not a prototype tackle. I was not. Right. Prototype tackles was 6'5", 6'6".
Right.
Yeah. When I was drafted by the Steelers, I was drafted to be a guard.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to prove to Bill Cowart that I could play tackle. But then when he saw my work ethic, he saw my attention to detail, he saw my aggression, he said, you know what, you might be all right at right tackle. And I went in his office and told him. Yeah.
That's what I think is lost from this team. Even if you think about it, in the last 22 games, I really think that's what's lost more than anything is you can tell there's no attention to detail with those guys.
Right.
You can definitely tell that.
Yep.
I mean, as a coach, can you see that?
Yeah. I mean, listen, they can't play a bunch in 3 years that I've been watching them. They are not attention to detail, believe me.
All right.
They can't play a bunch route. I could go over there and teach them how to play a bunch route right now.
I think there might be a few high school coaches that can teach them how to play a bunch shot. All right. Speaking of games, we got the Frangie Show over at UNF. UNF's playing Notre Dame. Let's get a little, bring them in here.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
The voice of the Jaguars, Frank Frangie, joins us. Frank, it's a perfect day out there. I know it is, isn't it?
Yeah, any day you start college baseball, it's going to be absolutely perfect, man. There's no question. It's beautiful out here today. UNF plays host to West Virginia, two good baseball teams. You know me, bro, in baseball on a baseball afternoon. So I can't wait to get started. I love this time of year, and it's all kind of Jaguar talk as you guys had, but also a little fun baseball coming up in just a bit.
So I was saying earlier in the program, because you are who you are, I was thinking I wouldn't be shocked at all if, the defensive coordinator gets named at, 4:45 during Frank's show. But when do you expect that to happen?
You mean the general manager?
Yeah, general manager. Right.
Yeah. My guess is you will probably see it. I don't think it'll be today, but I think you'll probably see a general manager named next week. I'd be surprised. Remember, the combine's the week after that, Matty. So I would guess you're going to see I'd be surprised if it's not named early or mid next week, and maybe even a chance to meet him toward the end of the week or first part of the following week. Remember, the combine starts on Monday, on the 24th.
Right.
I can't imagine that the GM won't have been hired and introduced to the local media before that. So that'd be, now I don't know, and I don't know who it is, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't be. So I would probably look for something next week if I was guessing. And I think, and look, I can tell you this, I'm excited where they are. I've been around players a little bit. I think there's some positive energy that's real. And so it'll be fun to see, man. I really do believe that.
The camera's shaking there a little bit, Frank.
It is shaky.
It's a little windy.
It's just a little wobbly. We're going to hang on. Listen, we got that under control. Okay, we'll get that wobbly in. But we're going to talk a little. We're going to talk a lot of UNF baseball. Joe Mercadante, the UNF baseball coach, will be here at 4:20. Nick Morrow, the terrific athletic director at UNF, at 4:40. Pete Prisco is always at 5 o'clock. So yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. A little cool, Matt. A little cool.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But when you're tough like me and you have 4 layers on,
yes.
Okay, that's a combination, Matty.
It's
okay?
all about layers, Frank. Layers.
Combination, Leon. I can handle this. Leon, were you one of those offensive linemen that never wore sleeves, even if it was like freezing? Did you do that?
Absolutely, Frank.
Yeah, you can't wear it. You can't put the. Offensive linemen can't put the sleeves on.
Can't put the sleeves on. Absolutely not.
Okay,
That's what,
Matt. If it had been me, Matt, I'd have had 8 sleeves on. Okay,
right.
So I'd have been that guy.
Right. All right. Sleeves on, Frangie, with the Frangie
I'm
show.
so sleeves
Thanks,
off.
Carline.
We're getting ready to start in just a bit. Thank you, fellas.
All right, brother. Frank Frangie coming on next, and then you've got Blue at 6 and Hacker at 8. And don't forget, RJ Saunders with his open gym every Monday now, 6 to 8. Good for RJ. All right, fellas, appreciate it. Joe will be back from his PGA Tour duties next week. We will get more into the Combine and the draft. JJ, great job. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.